Respect, not your genuine love, respect page. Actually, appreciate time to the genuine ones only. Protect your energy because not everybody's giving your time. You know, it's the thought process for me. Like, for real. It really is a thought process for me. How you come out your comfort zone. And not only that do you come out your comfort zone, but you come out your comfort zone to understand that we live in a society today where not everybody's going to understand you. Like, we get that part. But when it comes to language barrier, that's a problem. And I say that respectfully. It is. It should be no reason why someone gets up to start their day and go into an establishment and they're walking amongst themselves into an establishment, or not just an establishment, life itself. How can our neighbor hear us? How can our neighbor actually understand us if they don't speak English? You could be telling your neighbor to call 9910 because something is wrong with you. And your neighbor is saying, I don't speak English. I think that's a problem. And if you don't think that's a problem, you ain't woke. You're not. You're not. It should be no reason why you should have to worry about your elderly grandparents or your elderly parents getting into vehicles or starting their day and going certain areas or whatever the case may be, and they're amongst folks that don't speak English. And I'm not racist at the end of the day. But then it gets disrespectful to the part where when you speak up about it, you're wrong. Until something happens. Why does it have to wait for something to happen to somebody for them to understand what's going on? I saw something with my own very eyes, and I had to reevaluate my life and say to myself as, wow, that's unbelievable. But this really happens. Like, this really happens. And, you know, people, you know, caretakers are not around all the time. They're not. And I say this respectfully. The caretakers are not always around. And you can't always trust that source of the third party coming in to help your family member all the time. Because it should be no reason why your mother, your father, your aunt, your child gets into a vehicle or goes into an establishment, right? They acknowledge who they are. They acknowledge who they are. And they're being disrespected. And you're not around. And not only they're being disrespected, but they're being disrespected in a different language. And it's disgusting. Somebody brought harm to your relative, right? And you want to know why. And they come to find out the person doesn't speak English. And now you're more pissed off as to how did this accident just happen and occurred within occurring. And you can't get details after details because of the fact that the person don't speak English. And by the time somebody comes to break down what this person is actually saying to you, you don't lost your marbles. Because you're trying to figure out why is your parent, your girl, whoever this person, your loved one is to you at the end of the day, why they going to experience what they're experiencing right now when you just saw them a few minutes ago, just to start their day. They're getting hurt by their employees. Wow. And these are supposed to be the people we're supposed to trust. That's supposed to get up and go to work just like you go to work, right? start your day like just how they start their day. But they decided to have a moment today and take their frustration out on your innocent loved one. And you're not understanding why. When they supposed to be going to point A to Z, and they can't even make it from point A to Z. They just made it from half A to B. That quick. Something happens. You know, we live in a society today where it's a cold, cold world outside. It's real disrespectful. It's real disrespectful. It's so disrespectful to the point where you don't know who's going to show up and how they're going to show up today at work. All because they're having a moment. And it don't have nothing to do with you. They're just being careless. And they don't care. You know, not everybody has a heart. That's the problem. Not everybody has a heart. And we can't point out who doesn't have a heart. We just got to protect ourselves. And no one deserves to be mistreated. No one deserves to be overlooked. No one deserves to be abused. And I say this respectfully. Everybody deserves to be at peace with themselves and be in a peaceful world and respect each other. But how can we possibly do that when we're going against each other? It would never make sense because the enemy allows you to believe this for so long that we're supposed to go against our neighbor. And it's sad that you can't stop doing what you need to do every minute, every second to tend to your loved one. When it's that time for them to go outside and start their day. And you can't blame them for the marks on their body. Certain stuff you just can't overlook anymore. And I say that respectfully. It's a thought process for me. Or even in the nursing homes. It'd be the thought process to me how you put someone in care and they try to hurt these people. It's the thought process for me. You send someone to get the recovery and care that they need, and they're being abused, disrespected. You know, when you go those 2-3 weeks without showing up, them folks already thinking that then they ain't got nobody. So I'm gonna abuse them and do whatever I want to do. Even brainwash them in the process. But you're not around, so how could you possibly know? How could you possibly know what's going on? You already see a diagnosis, so you're gonna be thinking that somebody's talking out their head when they trying to confide in you. You overlooking because you don't care to take the time to investigate. It's the thought process for me. The things you see up close in person, you gotta reevaluate your timing and adjust it more comfortably. And I say that respectfully. You say that's your loved one. Pay attention to your loved one. Don't overlook them because they would never overlook you. It's the thought process for me. Sad. So sad. How people are truly overlooked and they would have never overlooked you. It's a lot of people that got loved ones in nursing homes, hospitals that get overlooked at the end of the day. But you don't want nobody to overlook you, and I say that respectfully. Come on, y'all, we gotta do better. As a unity. Now, genuine love, respect. Protect your energy, because not everybody's jamming your time. Love yourself with God's protection.